Time to honor our next member of the class of 2022. And before taking on her current role with EMI Nashville, Jackie Stevens executive produced The Big Time with Whitney Allen, joining the show at its inception. So here to honor Whitney Allen, Jackie Stevens.
Okay, here's a horrifying fact.
Okay.
Researchers say we're showering too often. There's only 3 areas that need it daily.
All right.
It's your hips, your groin, and your feet.
Okay.
Nobody wants to hear those words, and by the way, no one wants to see you wash them in the kitchen either. Just get in the shower.
Did you grow up on a tractor?
All right, y'all, we're falling behind the times here.
Yes, we are.
Chipotle is now taking cryptocurrency in exchange for the burritos, okay?
It's crazy. Does
that mean they'll take my NFT? Wait, what is an NFT? Do I have one?
No.
It's on Twitter at The Big Time. We'll see you there.
Hi, I'm Jackie Stevens, and I've had the pleasure and honor of working with Whitney Allen for over 15 years. This is such a huge night, but Whitney, how did it start? Well, you've told me that once. When you were 5 years old, parents bought you a red transistor radio that you slept with every night under your pillow. That and your newly adopted cat. So you knew you wanted to work with animals or in radio. But you talked too much, so radio it was. When asked to be part of this, I sat down to write, and nothing felt big enough. The first time I met Whitney, I was a fan. I grew up listening to her in Los Angeles. She came into the studio, introduced herself to the intern that was supposed to be answering phones, and instead of answering phones, I spent 4 hours in awe of Whitney. And luckily, she invited me to come back. From pirate radio, to Kiss FM, to KZLA in Los Angeles, to launching her own syndicated show, followed by her next syndicated show, Whitney Allen has been heard on hundreds of country stations by millions of people. We did the math once. The Big Time with Whitney Allen has been heard on over 150 stations, broadcast from 6 different countries and 2 different continents. Broadcasting the show from cruise ships, countless hotel rooms, too many backstage venues to count, a 600-year-old fort in Malta, even the flight deck of a battleship. All of this while maintaining her love for country music, its artists, and her staff. But what Whitney Allen's career is on air is nothing compared to the inspiration and leadership to those that have worked with her. Whitney Allen didn't set out to pave the way for women in radio. She just did. As the owner and host of her own syndicated show, she's hired, trained, and supported many women in their careers. And anytime you bring that up to her, she doesn't believe you on what an impact she's made. I once asked Whitney if she knew that she was a trailblazer, and she said, "No, I just want to be on the air." That passion and never asking for recognition is why we are all here tonight. I'm going to try to do this without crying, but I'm so honored to say this to you, my friend, my mentor, and someone who is so deserving of this honor. Please join me in welcoming the newest member of the Country Radio Hall of Fame, Whitney Allen.
Sorry, thank you. You think I know a mic when I saw it. Jackie, thank you. I didn't think I was going to start crying at the beginning of this. I really, really appreciate what you said. If you ever get a chance to get a Jackie in your life, take it. Take it, right? Because they took her from me. Those people took her from me. Oh, all right. First of all, I want to thank R.J. Curtis and everyone on this incredibly special night. As a kid, I was really awkward in school, and my personality did not win people over in junior or high school. It took radio for me to find my place. And I know that everyone has a soundtrack to their lives. Mine started when I was a little kid. And it's true. You know, outside the people in this room, most people we know were content to let that soundtrack that they had of their life turn into background music. And a lot of people turned that music down so low, they didn't notice music changing. They think that there was just no music like the music they had back in their day. The people in this room, though, we still know no matter how old we are, I mean, those of us in the Hall of Fame were pretty up there. We still know exactly what's going on, though, in music, and we realize that the best music of our life may be what we put on the radio today. And if it's not ours, it's definitely someone else's. Thank goodness for you guys, because you probably had the same sort of connection to your radio that I had with mine. And no matter what people say, on a nightly basis I see it. There are children and there are adults that have that same connection. I think mine started possibly before I was born, because maybe it's genetic. My grandfather was a coal miner in Scotland with 18 children. My dad was the youngest, and I was his only child. So he was my biggest cheerleader. He was the original girl dad who told me at an age I was probably too young to hear, do not let the bastards get you down. It's true. So, he was definitely the son of a coal miner. When my coal miner grandfather came up from the mines, he stood on the corners busking. That was singing for money. It wasn't just a pastime, though. His soundtrack was a necessity, and how he was able to stretch his coal miner's salary into feeding a family of 20. My parents always sang around the house. There was always music around the house. There were always parties. And the parties always consisted of everyone singing, everyone around the room. It was their own soundtrack, and mostly it was Scottish national songs and anthems that would leave everyone in these drunken tears, longing for the old country. But the one thing I remember the most, I was really little, this woman, it was so different from what anyone else sang. She started singing He'll Have to Go, a country tune by Jim Reeves. And that thing was so sultry and so sad that it was kind of embarrassing to hear, but I remember it. There was barely a moment in my house that didn't have music. My mom didn't like albums that were by the same singer, so she bought compilations. She listened to the radio. And then I found out I preferred radio in all of its incarnations. Top 40, easy listening, country, talk, you name it, I loved it. When I had a bad day, when I felt like an outsider at school, or even in my own skin, it was radio that always helped me forget. In the car, the house, under that pillow, at night, every night. And no one could ever have told me, ever, that it would come this far. Thank you so much for recognizing the hard work that I and my teams have done. I know that you have traveled on the same sort of road to your own soundtrack with the story that brought you here, so thank you so much for that. A friend of mine told me that I can only say this one time, that I did not expect this. So I'm saying it this one time. I honestly did not expect this. I've never won an ACM. I've never won a CMA. Why would I be chosen for the Hall of Fame? You are some of the people who saw in me some of the things that I could not ever see in myself. Like country radio itself, you didn't question what a Los Angeles-born daughter of Scottish immigrants was doing here. You just accepted it. You accepted me. You said yes to the show. Or you said no. It's all right. You got time. I'm not going anywhere. Thank you so much, especially to the people in this room and to the people across the country who've had the same experience that I did, being on one side of the mic or another. We have found that radio is something special, and it's more than just the music. It truly is a connection. If not for you, I would be, even though I started and still own my own show. And I've been working the country coast to coast just in this incarnation for 16 years. Without you, I'd be walking around thinking, I'm just a disc jockey. So this is truly an honor. Garrett, you're not on the scroll because of the way that things went and I found things out in the wrong order. So thank you. Garrett is one of the people who set up the show in those many countries. I mean, under situations you wouldn't believe. So thank you for being there for that. I know you weren't on the scroll. And this honor, when I first cracked the mic for the very first time, I was not dreaming of the Hall of Fame. I was just sweating my way through 12 seconds. And I actually remember I hit the post. Yes. So, thank you. So, a Hall of Fame, I never dreamed this big, and I dream pretty big. Radio gave me comfort as a child. It gave me a career that I adore, and now it has given me you, a community. Thank you for this incredible honor. RJ, thank you all of CRB. I appreciate it. I'll never forget it. I mean, look at this. It is a forever thing. Thank you so much. And thank you, Jackie.